I will start off by apologizing for how I look. I did look a little better earlier, but that was a few chores ago. I've got on my apron. Any makeup is gone. I tried filming this earlier, and then Jason came in and he was doing taxes, and it wasn't pretty. So he was doing taxes for us and for a business he and his brother have together. So he was having a rough day. Anyway, I've started seeds on some flowers, and right now I'm waiting on the weight. I've got a pressure canner. If you hear anything in the background, it's a pressure canner going. I'm waiting on the weight to start jiggling, and I have to set my 75-minute timer because I'm canning some dry pinto beans. And you may ask, well, I can dry pinto beans. They're shelf stable already. It's just for convenience. I use pinto beans in chili. I don't use kidney beans or chili beans or anything like that. I use pinto beans. And the only time we eat chili is when it's cold. So cold equals short days. So after I've worked a 10-hour day and I come home, I don't want to wait for beans to cook, and I don't want to try to remember to pre-soak them the night before. So they're already done. I just dump them out of a jar into a colander, rinse. A little bit of the country coming out there. Rinse the starch off and then dump them in the chili. Let them cook for a few minutes to get heated up and some of the flavor. And you're done. You don't have to wait to cook the beans. So it's just convenience. It's easier to do. If the dry beans already been canned, it's easier to do. So that's why I can the dry beans. That's the only dry bean I do, but I'm getting low on them. So I bought a 4-pound bag at Walmart. I think it was $4 a pound. And we're gonna have some beans put up for when it turns cold again. We're still cold. I mean, it's February, so we still have the opportunity to be cold. So we'll still be having chili for a little while. Anyway, this is a haul. I'll quit rambling. This is a haul from last week. Well, we went to an antique store yesterday. I got a couple of things from there. Everything else is from last weekend. We went to a regular estate sale, nice house, nice neighborhood, collectibles. And then we went to, it was a business. It wasn't going out of business. It had swapped hands. The building and most of everything in it was a car repair shop, a mechanic shop. And it was switching hands. So some of the stuff had to be sold off. And they did have a few household items. So, you know, my husband went just to see if there was anything guy related he wanted. And I wanted to see what kind of household items were going to be sold out of a mechanic shop. So, but the first one that we went to, I think we're going to do that one first, just because there's not a whole lot. I think I spent $10 at that. It's my favorite estate sale company. I believe it was their first day. And I can hear my weight rattling, so I got to go set my... So, hold on just a second. If you hear it in the background, it's probably going to sound like some old locomotive train coming through the door. It's just the weight on top is wiggling, so I get to hear that for the next 75 minutes. Anyway, excuse me, the mechanic shop. My husband got a huge trash bag full of shop towels. This guy had them everywhere. There were some in totes that weren't going to be for sale, but there were some stuffed here, there in bags that were. He got himself a whole big old trash bag of totes. Shop towels. Now, what I got, I found this. They did have boxes of canning jars. This is an old Hazel Atlas. And it's got the mark on the bottom, but of course it's blazed right across the front. Hazel Atlas. I'm not going to use this for canning. It'll probably be for storage. You can store, if you have dry beans or sugar or flour or something you wanted to keep dry, you put a screw lid on top of it and you've got storage. Or you can use it for a vase or for looks, however you want to do it. I almost passed this by because it was sitting under a couple of other platters, but finally I paid attention to it. And it is part of what I collect. You know, the plain plates and platters are here. And I think I got a couple of platters over there. This is the kind that has a transferware. You can see the, not a pattern, I guess, but the indentions around it are just like those. And this is not the only transferware that they did on this kind of shape, this kind of china. They did another variation of flowers. Probably did more than that, but I have seen that in this. But this is the one I fell into a collection of. So I have a few plates with this on it. Now, the other two things are artwork. I saw them and my husband said he liked this one. And he said, oh, it's an old fire brigade. I didn't even realize what it was. I just thought it was a cool looking painting. And it's not a painting. I'm sure it's just a reproduction print. It's supposed to look like a painting. So you can see the horses and the horse-drawn fire engine. And it does have a little damage right here in the corner. Other than that, it's a nice little piece. This was hand-painted. And my mother, the house that I grew up in, with my mother's home that now belongs to my sister, she inherited it from an aunt. And she liked to do, she was an amateur painter, oil painter. And this reminds me of some of the stuff that she did, as you can see. Now on the back, it does have her name, Myrtle Wilson. And it has January 22nd, 1973. And then an address somewhere, I believe, in Massachusetts. So, there's her information. But, I mean, I like the picture itself. The frame's okay. This is not fabric. It's just like, you know, sticky tape or wallpaper or something. But I do like the subject matter and the way it looks. It's just nostalgic, I guess. Kind of reminds me of some of the artwork that's hanging up in my mother's house for Aunt Ruby, what she did. So $10 for that and that big old huge bag of shop towels. Now, the other estate sale, I don't get there 2 or 3 hours in advance. It's not in my DNA. I can't do it. We did get there 40 minutes prior, and I was really cracking the whip trying to get there. And this was an estate sale company that wanted you to take the numbers. I hate doing numbers. But we were number 37. They did in the pictures that they had some collectible tins, like the marshmallow, the blue, red, white, and blue marshmallow tins, and they were in good shape. By the time I got there, they were long gone. They had some Pyrex, I think, and it was gone. Some people picked that up, which I wasn't interested in the Pyrex. But I did see a couple of things in the pictures that were sitting close to, and this was kind of sale. People lose all sense of reality or all sense of, I don't know, cordiality maybe. I don't know, but there was a bum rush to get in the door, and it was just beeline, and you were just elbowing. So as I was standing in line to try to pass through the kitchen, I saw this on the countertop. And I did see this in the pictures, and I really wanted to see it close. It's just a simple wooden box. It does not have any advertising on it, so I don't know what it would have been for. But the old dovetail corners. And it was, as you can see, $4. Not very big. And what was sitting on top of it was this. I have one already. It's a little bit taller than this one. This would have been one of those cheese crocks or cottage cheese crocks or sour cream crocks, whatever it was that the English people would wax it over. I've seen them in documentaries or whatever, but some kind of crock. And I don't know if she did that, put the little felt feet on it or what. And it was only $2, so I grabbed that up. Now, this, I'm sure, was out in the garage. Said $15 on it, and I was calling it, you know, the guy at the end was giving us our total and was taking our money. I said 15, and my husband was like, no, it says 10, because it said 10 here on this knob, which I'm sure is what the previous owner paid for it. They wrote 15, but the guy let me have it for 10. I thought it was complete, but I don't think it is. I think you have to have something inside that goes into the door. When you turn the knob, the little thing that goes in the door, it's not in there. But you can see the maker's mark there, right in here. I just can't read it. I thought about our chicken coop feed room. It's an old door. I've been thinking about an old doorknob. But then I thought, you know, right here in our linen closets where everybody can see it as they pass by the house. If we could get it to work. I don't know. We'll see how patient my husband is with me on that. Now this was in the kitchen in a box. Wasn't marked. The box wasn't marked for how many, $1 a piece, whatever. So when I was checking out, I told the guy, and he's like, So I think he just tossed this in. The clawfoot, those are the ice cube tongs. I think I already have a set somewhere. But I grabbed those up for free. You can't beat it. This, I believe, was in the garage. I think it's neat. I have a divider on my table for my silverware, but if you needed one, this is smaller than that one. I'm thinking about candles. You could display candles in it. You can see the little handles. And on this side, it says 10 cents each. So I don't know what it was used for, but it was $4. I kind of want to think that it was maybe, you know, in Fantasyland, maybe it was a librarian stuff, and she was selling 10 cents a piece, pencils or something out of it, or pens, or God knows what. We used to have here in town, there used to be a store called the Five and Dime, and we called it the dime store. There was a Five and Dime store. And when you walked in, the cash registers were up front, and right past cash registers, the next thing you saw, they had the icy machines. That was a big thing for kids growing up in, you know, late 70s, early 80s, icy. And it was the chocolate by the pound counter. So if you wanted chocolate covered peanuts or chocolate fudge, you know, they measured it out. But at the registers, they would always have these little plastic baskets of penny candy. And I know that's a thing long gone by now, but this just draws back memories of just penny candy and people selling pencils 10 cents a piece. Anyway, this basket, I'm not too big on the color changes, the differences. I'm sure it's just a different wood that they used. You can see on the bottom, there's like 2 or 3 different colors. It was only $4, but I like the shape of it. I've been looking for one like this, and it is very, very sturdy. You can put just about anything in that. So I bought that. Another piece of artwork. This was $6. And it's just a print. I mean, it's not a painting or anything, but I thought it's a nice little scene, and I like the fact it's in this chunky little frame. So $6 for that. And Jason did get, I got it out here, I'll show it to you. He did get this. For you youngsters, if we have any youngsters watching, I doubt, but this is what we used to call a boombox, or something, a version of it. It has a tape deck and a CD player up top. He's tried it. He says one of the speakers doesn't work, but the other one does, and he's happy with it. It was marked at $15. When he started adding all this up, the little guy that was working the sale, it was $54. Everything was $54. And I started adding it up in my head when we left, and I think he left something off. I think he didn't charge me for something, but I don't know what it was. Now this is the last thing. Jason did get a few odds and ends, like air hose fittings and all that. I think it was like $4 for all the little things that he got. So $19 is what he had in there. This was in the garage. It was dirty and dusty and covered in cobwebs, and that's probably why they didn't have it for any more than what they did. But you see the inside. You can see the little things here where you keep, I guess, your silverware. It is a little loose. Some of the nails are coming out of one of the hinges. And it does have a spot right here where it's missing a little bit. But $8. I couldn't pass that up for $8. So, they're good for storage. I have one in the bottom of my linen closet. Our closet here, everybody gets to see when they go past. There is a door on it, but you see the door. But inside on the bottom, I have a picnic basket, and it's holding a lot of crap. Just odds and ends stuff. So that was, I believe, everything from the estate sale and the garage sale, for lack of a better term. So yesterday, we didn't have any good estate sales in the area, but we had to go to Dothan for groceries and chicken food and all that. So I said, why don't we go by an antique store? And my husband picked out the one because he's found books there before, and he thought maybe the iron would be, you know, strike twice. It didn't. He came out dry. I got something. And I've been looking for one of these, but most of the time when I see them at antique stores or in estate sales, they are $60, $65. Just too much for me to pay. You know, it's funny. You assign something in your head of value. You know, I have certainly paid $60 for something else at estate sales, but for this, I wouldn't pay $60, even though I wanted one. I just couldn't do it. But I found this, and I thought it was just perfect. It's an old crock bowl. It does have, let's see, it does have a crack in it right here. But inside is perfect. You could use this for bread. You could use this for pancakes. You could use it for just anything. It does have, I think there's somewhat of a maker's mark in it, but that's about all I can see. I would say whole, but I don't know that whole may be. Maybe they do, I don't know. But yeah, that cream colored crock bowl. Finally have one. It was $35 in the booth. One of the first booths I went into. So I took it back to the counter and I said, would you hold on to this until we leave? And he said, sure. So when I went back and started my trek again, I looked. That same booth had a sign that said 20% off. So another $7. So it was $28 for that. Now the other thing that I got were these. And they're great. They're nice. I hope to God it's not another unintentional collection I'm getting into. But I found these in someone's booth. They were just sitting in a bowl. And they were priced $5 a piece. And I thought, I don't really know if I want to spend $5 a piece. But my husband said there's some somewhere else. So I went and looked. And those were behind locked cabinets. And they were, you could see through the glass, it was $10 a piece. And there was another booth that had some in a bowl that said $10 a piece. I said, so maybe that $5 a piece is not so bad. So I went back and untangled, because there was quite a few of them. And I got myself 2 of these old skeleton keys. And these are original keys. These are not remade. This one is just tarnished that color. There was one like this that was slightly less tarnished, more silver looking. And then this one, you can see this groove here. It's just full of, old rust and crust and where it's been used all its life. I want to say that there's a patent of 1904 written here. And then it has more writing here, but God help me, I can't read it. So $5 a piece for these 2. And they'll be stuck in some little vignette. Hopefully by the time we get around to posting this, we'll have some of this decorated, or we'll do a decorate with me video. So I kept looking for little bird's nests. Every bird's nest I saw in that antique store it wasn't for sale. It belonged to whatever it was showing off. And the price of cloches. I just showed you a cloche that I bought at that yard sale or estate sale masquerading as a yard sale. I bought a cloche there with that doll, and it was $10. There were cloches like that in the antique store for $60 and $65. That's why it gets so hard to buy things in antique stores. But anyway, I couldn't find any. I went to Walmart. I just didn't, where Hobby Lobby is over there, it's just hard to get to, and I really didn't want to have to go. So I'll check at Walmart and see if they have any. I couldn't find any at Walmart, but I did find this little bag of little moss-covered bunnies. I think it was $3.98. $3.98 in the Easter, tied up with a little green, velvet green ribbon. And look at, oh crap. Man down. They're so cute. And they have different positions. One of them standing straight up. I think that's the only 2 positions. You have 3 like this, and then you have 3 like this. So that, I think that, and I'm not sure, I'm not sold on the little green ribbons yet, little green velvet ribbons yet. So I don't know if I'm going to keep those or not. And that's not part of the haul. It's just, we went to Walmart, and I thought that was a cool little find at Walmart. So $4 and you get 6 little bunnies. Now, that was a haul. Hopefully by the time, like I said, by the time we get around to posting this, we'll have some decorate with me, or we'll have some finished video of pictures of where they are. Because I am getting to that mood where I want to start changing stuff. Grass is greening up, days are getting longer, and we are breaking land in the ground, in the garden, trying to get that ready. Next weekend, probably we're going to be planting potatoes. We would have done it last weekend at Valentine's, but it was raining. This weekend is pretty dry, but Monday and Tuesday there's more rain. So I'd like it to be a little drier when we start putting them in. So we'll probably wait until next weekend to get that done. Of course, there may be an estate sale or 2 we have to go to first. But thank you for joining us here at South Georgia Home. If you liked us, give us a thumbs up. Leave us a comment. Let us know if we're doing something right or wrong. And please subscribe if you aren't already. But thank you for joining us here at South Georgia Home. We hope to see you again at the next one.